Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Jaya Bharade Jaya Subhaja Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Jaya Rukmini Dogadish Rukmini Dogadish Rukmini Dogadish Rukmini Dogadish Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jam Vishnupada Panamaham Saparila Chakcharya Ashtodada Satta Shri Shrima His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupada Panamaham Saparila Chakcharya Ashtodada Satta Shri Shrima His Divine Grace Shira Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Saka Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinam Shama Kum Radha Kum Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai Gangamai Chamunamai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Transcendental Prasadana Distribution Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai, ISKCON Yutva Gadam Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanandi Hari 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 Bo, All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis, Hare Krishna, All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis, Hare Krishna, All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis, Hare Krishna, All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Shasmadi, Namo Vishnu Gasam, Namo Vishnu Shasmadi Bhakti Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udidayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 13, text number 32 through 34. So there is no purport to text number 32 and text number 33. So I will just read these two verses myself, and we can do text number 34 together. Jahanarudana asahya vikramam sarira yevam migara ivam basi tarakta panka kita ganda tundo yataka jenjo jagatin vibindam. Translation. Thereupon, Lord Bo killed the demon within the water, just as a lion kills an elephant. The cheeks and tongue of the Lord became smeared with the blood of the demon, just as an elephant becomes reddish from digging in the purple earth. Text number 33. Tamananinam sitatanta kotya Shamam utshitpantam gachat didayangam pragyaya badan chalnayo nuvakai virichimbukya upatastu isham. Translation. Then the Lord, praying like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusks. He assumed a bluish complexion like that of a tamao tree. And thus the sages, heard by Brahma, could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offered respectful obeisances unto the Lord. So let's do text number 34 together. Rishaya Vuchuhu Jitam Techita Yagya Bhavana Chaim Tanu Swam Paritumbate Namaha Yat Roma Gateshu Niniyu Adayas Tasmai Namaha Karana Sukaraya Te Vishaya Vuchuhu Chitante Chitayakya Bhavana Chaitanu Swam Paridumbate Nama Yaroma Kateshu Niniyu Adayas Tasmai Namakarana Sukarayete Chitante Chitayagya Bhavana Chaitanu Swam Paridumbate Nama Yaroma Kateshu Niniyu Adayas Tasmai Namakarana Sukarayete Chitante Chitayagya Bhavana Chaitanu Swam Paridumbate Nama Yaroma Kateshu Niniyu Adayas Tasmai Namakarana Sukarayate Rishaya Vuchu Shirayaga Bhavana. Mataji's Rishaya Uchuhu, the glorified sages uttered, Jitam, all glories, Jitam, all victories, Te, unto you, Ajita, O unconquerable one, Yagyabhavana, one who is understood by performances of sacrifice. Chaim, personified Vedas. Tanum, such a body. Swam, own. Paritumbate, shaking. Namaha, all obeisances. Yat, whose. Roma, hairs. Kateshu, in the holes. Nidhi yuhu, submerged. Adayaha, the oceans. Tasmai, unto him. Namaha, offering obeisances. Karnana sukaraya, under the hawk form assumed for reasons. Te, unto you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. All the sages uttered with great respect, O unconquerable enjoyer of all sacrifices, all glories and all victories unto you. You are moving in your form of the personified Vedas, and in the hair holes of your body, the ocean are submerged. For certain reason, to uplift the earth, you have now assumed the form of a bull. Purport. The Lord can assume any form he likes, and in all circumstances, he is the cause of all causes. Since his form is transcendental, he is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he is the causal ocean in the form of Mahavishnu. Innumerable universes generate from the holes of his bodily hairs, and thus his transcendental body is the Vedas personified. He is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and he is the unconquerable Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is never to be misunderstood to be other than the Supreme Lord because of his assuming the form of a boar to lift the earth. That is the clear understanding of sages and great personalities like Brahma and other residents of the higher planetary systems. Om Jnana Timinandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Umnitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Pishtan Stapidan Yena Bhutare Swayan Upakada Mahyan Tadati Swam Padantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Lakunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savatuta Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva. Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Nishwari Rishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakau Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaura Bhakta Vinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chitante Chitayagya Bhavana Chaitanu Swam Paridum Vate Namaha Yat Roma Gateshu Nidiyu Adayas Tasmai Namaha Karana Sukharayate. Translation again. All the sages uttered with great respect, O unconquerable enjoyer of all sacrifices, all glories and all victories unto you. You are moving in your form of the personified Vedas, and in the hair holes of your body, the ocean are submerged. For certain reasons, to uplift the earth, you have now assumed the form of a boar. So here, Maitreya Muni is continuing telling Vidura the story of Lord Boar, the person of Lord Boar. So in the purport, as usual, Prabhupada wrote really beautiful purport, although it's not very long. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada said that the Lord can assume any form he likes. And in all circumstances, he is the cause of all causes. So it reminds me a verse in the Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma, he was praying by saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachi Ananda Vigraha, Anadi Adi Govinda, Sava Karana Karanam. There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because none can excel him. He is the supreme person, and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord, Govinda, and the cause of all causes. Actually, Prabhupada, in explaining the meaning of the word Bhagavan, Prabhupada, he wrote really wonderful comment here. Prabhupada, he said, the Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parashara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva. The Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached. But no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strengths, essential entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayan, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in the Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord or Bhagavan, known as Govinda, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. So another interesting point caught on my mind is that Srila Prabhupada, he said in the purport that Lord Krishna's form is transcendental. He is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It reminds me another verse in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that Ayopisam avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro pisam prakritin swam adhishtaya sambhavami atmamayaya. Krishna said that although I'm unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I'm the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So transcendental means that, as the Lord Krishna said in the verse, that his body is always transcendental, never deteriorate. That means when Lord come to this material world, his body is he himself, is made from spiritual energy, Satchitananda. His body is not subject to the laws of this material world. We all experience that in this material world, everyone has to subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. But when Lord Krishna come to this material world, it's not like us. Srila Prabhupada, he said that the Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body as the common living entity changes from one body to another. The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body, but transmigrates from one body to another. The Lord, however, does not do so. Whenever he appears, he does so in the same original body, by his internal potency. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form. With two hands holding the fruit, he appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. At the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home. Or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculation. Still, he looks just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. As I just said previously, that actually the Lord body is actually not made of material energy. It's made from spiritual energy. There's a verse in the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Advaita Achyuta Anandin Ananta Rupa Adya Purana Purusham Navayomanam Cha Vedeshu Durabam Adurabam Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all-knowing form of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars. But they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. So the Lord here in the Brahma Samhita is described as Navayomana, always fresh youth, never deteriorate. That's why we are saying that the Lord is always transcendental. And Prabhupada, he continues, said here, at the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculation. Still, he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us. Although he is the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future, neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in the material world, he is the same unborn, eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us, and then disappearing from our eyesight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun has set, and when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position, but owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of an ordinary common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his internal potency. And he is never contaminated by material nature. That means the Lord is never subject by the law of material nature. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi-manifestations. The Vedic supplementary literature also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayan with 4 hands and decorated of the 6 kinds of 4 opulence. So Prabhu here, he was saying when Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago in Vrindavan, actually in Mathura, he was appearing in the jail because Kamsa put his mother and father in the jail. So Krishna appeared in the jail before his mother, fully decorated with 4 hands and fully decorated with 6 kinds of opulences. Not an ordinary, baby will take birth like that. Yeah. So that's the proof. Krishna is actually not subject to these material laws of nature. His body is transcendental. Yeah. His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entity, so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is, and not on mental concoction or imagination. With the impersonalist wrongly thinks the Lord's form to be. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy. According to the Vishvakosha dictionary, the Lord is conscious of all his previous appearances and disappearances, but a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is the Lord of all living entity because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self, or between his quality and body. So there are some other points in Prabhupada's purport also, but I'll just stop here. Time. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the nice class. I just thought it was very interesting the way that Srila Prabhupada, to make the point very clear about
to make
how...
What clear?
Sorry?
To make what clear, Prabhupada?
To make the point very clear that the Lord's appearance doesn't appear or disappear, that it's just like the sun which appears to rise and set, but actually it's because our planet is moving and the sun is non-moving. That's what Prabhupada said.
Right.
It's interesting that to make that really stick in our minds, he said that because also we know from Bhagavatam that the sun planet also has its movement, it rides on a chariot and things like that. But to really establish that kind of like snapping kind of vision of how the Lord never actually disappears, but appears to appear and disappear, that he used that example because that's the best thing to compare the Lord to is the sun in our experience. So I just thought it was interesting.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the nice comment. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we will stop here. Thank you much for coming. Gantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.